Before we go on to the next verse, a question came in about the preceding one that I thought I would discuss. So somebody listened to the preceding one and said it was very helpful. But could you possibly say something about having the aspiration to be reborn in the lower realms in order to help these suffering beings there, the hungry ghosts and those in the hell realms? Because, in part of the bodhicitta practice, you pray to be born in the areas of most suffering in order to benefit the sentient beings there. So she says, presumably, if one were to have that aspiration, in order to be of benefit, one would have to be enlightened, or otherwise, how could you really help? Exactly. Or maybe you could help a little bit. Well, if you don't have really strong mental control in those realms, very difficult. Perhaps you could say a little bit about Kshitigarbha. I'm curious about this because my aspirations and focus for some time now have been the beings in the hell and hungry ghost realms. Mentally, I switch off when I hear about rebirth in a Pure Land. But listening to your BBC talk on this topic has made me realize that it is more complicated than I thought, and that maybe being reborn in a Pure Land is a prerequisite to being able to help beings in the lower realms. I think I'm a bit confused. Okay, so the praying to be born in the lower realms to benefit others is something we do to strengthen our bodhicitta, strengthen our compassion. It's not so much, we may phrase it in terms of I pray to be born in the lower realms to benefit these beings. But what we really should be thinking is I aspire to develop the qualities necessary so that I can be reborn in the lower realms and be of actual benefit to other sentient beings. Because she's absolutely right, unless you have, incredible spiritual strength, it doesn't do any good to be born in those places because you have no ability to help. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you see somebody who's sick, you want to help them. If you don't know what you're doing, you could make it worse. So you need to go to school and learn, medicine. And then when you have some knowledge, you can go out and be of actual benefit. Okay? So while we may make those aspiration prayers now, what we're really doing is the effect they have on our mind is to strengthen our compassion and our determination to be of benefits to sentient beings. So if we pray, may I be reborn in the hell realms or the animal realms or whatever to benefit the sentient beings there, we should be thinking of what it's like to be born in those realms and how much fortitude and joyous effort we're going to have to be able to endure those kind of situations in order to be able to benefit others in that way. So thinking like that helps us, have a more intense determination to cultivate fortitude and joyous effort. Okay, and it's going to strengthen our determination to develop the mind that cherishes others and to develop compassion. Okay, but clearly, in order to be a benefit, we have to have some qualities. Otherwise, it's like, at the baby beginner level, you don't need to be prayed to be reborn in the lower realms because our negative karma will probably take us there anyway. Yeah? Yeah. So, when you think that you have so much negative karma, at the beginning of the path, it's like we have so much negative karma. We are praying to be reborn in the Pure Lands, rather than have our negative karma ripen and be in those awful situations for a long time where we're of no benefit to anybody else, including or ourselves. But instead pray to be reborn in the Pure Lands or to have a precious human life where we can continue to practice the Dharma and develop the requisite qualities so that we can actually be of greater and greater benefit to others. Okay? So it's actually the bodhisattvas who are praying to be reborn in the lower realms, and the ordinary beings who are praying to be born in the Pure Land or in the, precious human life. Okay? But like I said, even now we can aspire to take rebirth there, but we have to put in our aspirations, may I have all the, develop all the requisite qualities, to be able to benefit the beings there. Okay? Yeah. So again, it's the kind of thing, if you have to know what kind of mind state you have when you do certain practices and where certain aspirations fit on the path. Yeah. Because otherwise it's quite easy to get them all confused. Okay. Make some sense? Yeah. Because at the beginning, really, the important thing is for us not to have a lower rebirth so that we can continue to practice. Yeah. Because that's what's important. Otherwise, we're going to be like the blind leading the blind. Of course, we help others as much as we possibly can right now, whoever is in front of our nose at that moment. We help as much as we can. Yeah. But to really deliberately enter difficult situations, the more we have the wisdom and compassion and inner strength, then the more effective we're going to be benefiting those people. And yet, whenever we go to benefit sentient beings, it's not just our wish to benefit or our skills that determines the outcome. They have to be receptive. Yeah. So it's, this dependent arising that we always need. Yeah? And so to really think at what times in our practice who can we help the most given our particular qualities right now, and how can we increase our qualities so we can be able to benefit even more as we go ahead in the future. Then there's also the famous story of one of the Dalai Lamas who, when he was dying, was praying to be reborn in the lower realms. And it looked like as he was dying that he was a little unhappy. And so one of his disciples said, why? And he said, well, I'm praying to be reborn in the lower realms in order to benefit beings there. But I keep on having visions of the Pure Lands. Yeah? And so there you can see, somebody with a very pure mind, that's what's going to appear to them at the time of death is the Pure Lands. Yeah. So often, we have a lot of compassion and we can see the pain in the world and we want to go there and help, but if we don't have the skills or the knowledge, or we don't know people, we don't know the culture, we don't know the language, then it becomes difficult to help. So helping, of course, it starts with the foundation of compassion and that altruistic intention. It starts there. And then we have to think, okay, what else do I need besides that in order to make the help I want to give really successful? And how am I going to bear up in, when I go there and to help? And all these people don't want my help. Yeah. Or I was watching a thing, because of Ebola, there in Liberia, there's like a group of young men that go around and collect the bodies. And it showed a video. They were going into one village to collect the body of one woman who had died from Ebola. And the people in the village didn't think she had died from that disease. And they were heckling them and saying, what are you doing, and why are you here, and na 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 na. And one of the guys was speaking and saying, I'm just serving my country. I want to serve my country, and that's why I'm doing this work. And it showed them digging the grave and putting it in, and all the villagers standing around kind of saying, go away, But it's because the villagers don't know and they don't understand the disease. But this young man, the way he said, I'm a soldier, but I'm here to serve my country. And he really had this beautiful, compassionate, aspiration, and was putting himself in a lot of danger. I mean, they were, of course, putting on all the protection gear, but still, So, you have to have a strong mind if you're in that situation to keep helping, even if people don't directly appreciate what you're doing. Yeah, so it's the same with the taking and giving meditation. We feel very inspired. I'm going to take on the suffering of all beings, and it's inspiring, and you want to do it. And then you start thinking of, having those physical problems, having those mental problems, having those karmic obstacles. What does it really mean if you pray, I'm going to experience other beings, suffering? You go, do I have the mental strength to do it? And see, that's where that meditation makes, it forces you to develop that mental strength. Yeah, because the meditation is really effective when you see the resistance in you coming up and you start working with that resistance. When the taking and giving meditation is still on the level of, I'm going to take everything and, like that, and it feels wonderful to do that. Somehow our real impediments are still kind of there very comfortably, Yeah. And they only come up in an actual situation where the mind goes, I don't want to do that. So we can sit and do the taking and giving meditation. I'm taking on Ebola, I'm taking on Isis, I'm taking the suffering of all these, everything I'm taking on, and I'm feeling very blissful, giving my happiness to other beings. And then somebody comes and says, so-and-so has the flu in their room, would you take them some food? And you go, no, they're sick. If I go in their sick room, I'm going to get the flu too. Yeah? So that's the time when, we really start doing the practice of compassion and cherishing others. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.